Captain Hyunwoo stared at the glowing screen in front of him. The numbers made no sense. He rubbed his tired eyes and looked again. The energy readings were still there, coming from the Sol system where the humans lived. The bridge of the eternal supremacy was quiet, except for the soft hum of computers. Other officers worked at their stations checking reports from across the galaxy. None of them seemed worried. Why should they be? The Dominion Empire had ruled space for 3,000 years. Nothing surprised them anymore. But this was different. Hyunwoo touched his communication device. "Lieutenant Sung-ho, please come to my station." A young officer hurried over. His uniform was perfectly clean, his boots shined bright. New graduates always looked like that. "Yes, Captain." "Look at these readings from the human system. Tell me what you see." Sung-ho leaned forward and studied the screen. His face grew confused. "Sir, these numbers, they show massive energy use. But humans barely have space travel. They cannot even leave their own star system." "That is what I thought too." Hyunwoo pointed at the display. "But look at this. The energy signature is coming from behind their largest gas planet. Jupiter, they call it. Maybe their sensors are broken," Sung-ho suggested. Hyunwoo shook his head. "I checked 3 times. I even had the computer run full diagnostics. Everything works fine." On the screen, a red dot pulsed near Jupiter. The computer estimated the energy output at levels that should be impossible for humans. They were supposed to be a weak species. The Empire had made sure of that. 40 years ago, the Dominion had visited Earth. The humans had been getting too bold, sending small ships to their nearby planets. Admiral Kangmin had taught them a lesson. 3 human cities had been destroyed from orbit. The humans had learned to stay in their place after that, or so everyone thought. "Sir," Sung-ho said quietly, "what if they are building something?" "Building what?" "Humans use primitive nuclear power. They fight with chemical rockets. What could they possibly build that would create this much energy?" But even as Hyunwoo spoke, he felt worried. The readings were too strong to ignore, too focused to be an accident. He opened a new screen and began typing commands. The long-range sensors turned toward Sol system. If humans were up to something, the Dominion needed to know. "Scanning now," he told Sung-ho. "This will take a few minutes." While they waited, Hyunwoo thought about humans. The Empire kept detailed files on every species in the galaxy. Humans were listed as Class 7 limited threat. They had decent brains but poor technology. They fought among themselves constantly. Their longest government had lasted only a few hundred years. The scan finished. Hyunwoo's blood turned cold. "What is it, sir?" Sung-ho asked. Hyunwoo could not speak for a moment. The scan showed something massive being built in the Jupiter system, something the size of a moon. But it was not a space station or a mining platform. The computer identified it as a ship, a human warship. "That cannot be right," Hyunwoo whispered. "Run the scan again." Sung-ho's fingers flew over the controls. The second scan showed the same thing. A huge ship mostly hidden behind Jupiter's moons. Its energy signature was stronger than any Dominion vessel. "Sir, should we report this to Admiral Taemin?" Hyunwoo nodded slowly. Admiral Taemin commanded the Third Fleet. He was old, experienced, and had fought in dozens of battles. If anyone would know what to do, it was him. Send him everything. All the scans, all the energy readings. Mark it as urgent. Meanwhile, in the Sol system, Commander Bora sat in the communications center of Earth Defense Station Alpha. The station orbited high above Earth, watching for any sign of Dominion ships. For 40 years, they had been preparing for this day. Her console beeped softly. An incoming message from the hidden base behind Jupiter. "Commander, this is Engineer Woo Jin. Project Starfall is ready for final phase. Waiting for your orders." Bora's hands shook slightly as she typed her reply. "Understood. Stand by for Protocol 7. She had dreamed of this moment since she was a child. Her grandfather had lived through the burning, when Dominion ships had destroyed Seoul, New York, and Mumbai from space. Millions had died. The survivors had sworn it would never happen again. Protocol 7 meant war. Bora opened a secure channel to Dr. So Young's laboratory. The scientist appeared on screen, her hair messy from long hours of work. "Doctor, are the new shields ready?" "Yes, Commander. All systems tested and working. The Dominion will get quite a surprise when they see what we have learned from their old technology." For 80 years, human scientists had studied every piece of Dominion equipment they could find. Crashed ships, abandoned outposts, even fragments of metal from old battles. Slowly, carefully, they had figured out how alien technology worked. Then they had built something better. Dr. So Young's team had cracked the secret of Dominion shields just 5 years ago, but humans had not stopped there. They had improved the design, made it stronger, more flexible. The new shields could do things the Dominion had never imagined. How long until we are detected? Bora asked. Unknown. We have been careful to hide our energy signatures, but if they scan directly at Jupiter, they might already have, Bora said. Our sensors picked up Dominion long-range scans 20 minutes ago. Dr. So Young's face went pale. Then we are out of time. Yes. Activate Protocol 7 immediately. Across the Sol system, hidden bases received the signal. Ships that had been disguised as asteroids powered up their engines. Weapons that had been cold for decades began to charge. Men and women who had trained their entire lives for this moment took their positions. Humanity was about to show the galaxy what 80 years of preparation could accomplish. Back on the Eternal Supremacy, Admiral Taemin studied Hyunwoo's report. The old admiral had gray hair and scars from a dozen wars. He had seen everything the galaxy could offer. But this made him laugh. Humans building warships, he said to his staff. These readings must be wrong. Perhaps they are building a large space station. Or maybe they found an old Dominion wreck and are trying to repair it. Sir, Hyunwoo said carefully, the energy signature is unlike anything we have seen. Even our newest dreadnoughts do not produce readings this strong. Captain, you have been staring at screens too long. Humans are barely capable of orbital flight. The idea that they could build something to threaten the Empire is ridiculous. But Admiral Taemin's smile faded as he read more of the report. The energy readings were very real, very focused, and very dangerous if they were what they appeared to be. How long would it take to reach the Sol system with a reconnaissance fleet? He asked his navigation officer. 4 days at maximum speed, sir. Very well. Prepare 12 ships. We will investigate these readings personally. If humans are building something they should not have, we will remind them of their place in the galaxy. The Admiral's staff began making preparations. Orders went out to ship commanders. Crews reported for duty. Weapons were checked and supplies loaded. None of them imagined they were flying into the carefully prepared trap that humanity had spent 8 decades building. In the depths of space near Jupiter, Captain Dong Ho walked through the corridors of the Defiance. The ship was magnificent, sleek and deadly in ways that Dominion engineers could not understand. Its hull was made from materials that humans had invented in secret laboratories. Its weapons used principles of physics that alien textbooks said were impossible. Captain, called Major Yuna from the bridge. Dominion fleet detected at maximum sensor range. 12 ships approaching fast. Understood. Signal all ships to take positions. It is time to show the galaxy that humans are no longer helpless. The Defiance and her sister ships moved into formation. They had trained for this battle for years. Every crew member knew their job perfectly. Every system had been tested hundreds of times. The Dominion fleet would arrive in 4 days. When they did, they would discover that the primitive humans had learned some very dangerous lessons. Lieutenant Jihi guided her scout ship through the dark space near Jupiter. The small vessel was nearly invisible, designed for spying on enemy positions. She had done this mission hundreds of times before, always finding exactly what the Empire expected to find. But today felt different. Her sensors were picking up strange readings. Energy signatures that made no sense. Metal compositions that should not exist. She checked her instruments twice, then a third time. Everything seemed to be working normally. This is Scout 7 to Admiral Taemin. She spoke into her communicator. I am approaching the target area now. Understood, Lieutenant. Remember, this is just a routine check. Humans cannot build anything dangerous. Find their little project and report back. Jihai almost smiled. The Admiral sounded so confident. The entire Dominion fleet thought this mission would be easy. Check on the humans, destroy whatever toys they had built, and go home. She guided her ship around one of Jupiter's smaller moons and stopped. Her mouth fell open. Where her sensors had detected energy readings, a massive ship floated in space. It was easily twice the size of a Dominion battlecruiser. Its hull was dark metal that seemed to absorb light instead of reflecting it. Weapon ports lined its sides in patterns she had never seen before. But the most shocking thing was how beautiful it looked. Dominion ships were built for function, not appearance. They were gray boxes with engines and guns. This human ship looked like it had been designed by an artist. Every line was perfect, Every surface curved gracefully into the next. "Admiral," she whispered into her communicator. "You need to see this." "What did you find, Lieutenant?" "Sir, the humans have built a warship. A real warship, it is. It is bigger than anything we have." Silence on the communication channel. Then Admiral Taman's voice, much less confident than before. "Send me everything. All scans, all readings, all visual data." Jihai's fingers moved quickly over her controls. She sent detailed scans of the human ship to the fleet. As she worked, she noticed something else. The ship was not alone. Her long-range sensors detected at least 5 other vessels hiding in the asteroid belt around Jupiter. "Admiral, there are more ships, at least 5, possibly more. They are using some kind of stealth technology to hide from our sensors." Another long pause. When the Admiral spoke again, his voice was tight with worry. "Return to the fleet immediately. Do not engage the enemy ships. Repeat, do not engage." Jihai turned her scout ship around and activated maximum speed. As she flew away from Jupiter, she kept scanning behind her. The human ships made no move to follow, but she could feel them watching her leave. On the human ship Defiance, Captain Dong Ho watched the alien scout vessel disappear into the distance. His bridge crew remained calm and professional, but he could see the excitement in their eyes. After 80 years of preparation, the moment had finally arrived. "Major Yuna, signal all ships. The Dominion knows we are here. Begin final preparations for battle." "Yes, sir." Major Yuna opened communication channels to the other human vessels. "All ships, this is Defiance Command. Execute Protocol 7. Repeat, execute Protocol 7. Throughout the Jupiter system, human ships began to move. Some had been hiding in asteroid fields for months. Others had been disguised as mining equipment or research stations. All of them now revealed their true nature as advanced warships. Engineer Wu Jin appeared on the bridge's main screen, broadcasting from the hidden shipyard behind Jupiter's largest moon. His face showed a mixture of pride and nervousness. "Captain, all systems are ready. The new shield generators are at full power. Weapons are charged and targeted. We are as ready as we will ever be." "Excellent work, engineer. Your team has given us the tools we need to defend our home." Wu Jin nodded and closed the channel. He had spent 30 years of his life working on this project. His father had worked on it before him, and his grandfather before that. 3 generations of humans had poured their knowledge and dreams into building these ships. The Defiance was their masterpiece. Its shields used technology that the Dominion had never seen before. Instead of simply blocking enemy fire, they could absorb energy and redirect it back at attackers. The weapons were even more impressive, using focused gravity fields to tear apart enemy ships at the atomic level. But the ship's greatest advantage was its crew. Every person on board had trained for this battle since childhood. They knew their jobs perfectly and trusted each other completely. They fought not just for victory, but for the survival of their species. Captain Dong Ho walked to the center of the bridge and activated the ship's internal communication system. His voice reached every corner of the vessel. "Attention, crew of the Defiance. Today we face the enemy that has kept humanity trapped in our own solar system for 40 years. They believe we are weak and helpless. They think our technology is primitive and our spirit is broken. They are about to learn how wrong they are." Cheers echoed through the ship's corridors. Men and women who had trained their entire lives for this moment, prepared for battle with quiet determination. Admiral Taemin studied the data from Lieutenant Jihai's scout mission. The images of the human warship filled his command screen. His experienced eye could see immediately that this was no primitive vessel. The design was too advanced, too sophisticated. "Captain Hyunwoo, what do you make of this ship's construction?" Hyunwoo examined the scans carefully. "Sir, the hull material appears to be some kind of advanced composite, much stronger than standard Dominion armor. The weapon ports suggest energy weapons of unknown design. And these engine signatures, what about them?" "They are more powerful than our own, sir. By a significant margin." The bridge fell silent. Dominion ships had the most advanced engines in the galaxy. How could humans have built something better? "Perhaps they found ancient technology," suggested Commander Minsu. "There are old ruins scattered throughout the galaxy. Maybe they discovered some lost civilization secrets." Admiral Taemin shook his head. "Look at the construction. This ship is brand new, recently built. And see these design elements? They are clearly human in origin, but far advanced beyond anything we thought they could achieve." "What are your orders, sir?" asked Captain Hyunwoo. The Admiral thought for a long moment. Standard procedure would be to attack immediately and destroy the threat before it could grow larger. But this situation was unlike anything he had faced before. Signal the human vessel. Standard surrender demand. If they comply immediately, we will be merciful. And if they refuse, then we will remind them why the Dominion has ruled the galaxy for 3,000 years. The communication officer sent the standard message toward the Jupiter system. It would take several minutes for the signal to travel that distance and several more for any reply. While they waited, Admiral Taman called up files on human military capability. According to Empire records, humans had no warships larger than orbital patrol boats. Their weapons were primitive projectile and laser systems. Their shields were basic energy barriers that could barely stop meteors. But the ship in Lieutenant G. High's scans looked nothing like those descriptions. "Sir," called the communication officer, "we are receiving a reply from the human vessel. Put it on the main screen." The image of a human male appeared. He wore a uniform that looked military, but was unlike any design in Dominion files. His face was calm and confident, showing no fear of the powerful fleet approaching his position. "This is Captain Dong Ho of the Terran Defense Fleet vessel Defiance. You have entered human space without permission. You have 30 seconds to leave our system or we will consider your presence an act of war." Stunned silence filled the Dominion bridge. Then Admiral Taman began to laugh. "Captain, you cannot be serious. Your entire species has fewer warships than my reconnaissance fleet. Surrender now and we will be merciful." Captain Dong Ho's expression did not change. 20 seconds, this is ridiculous. Humans threatening the Dominion Empire? Your people have barely learned to travel between planets. 10 seconds. Admiral Taman's laughter died as he saw something in the human captain's eyes. No fear, no doubt. Only cold determination. 5 seconds, Admiral, whispered Captain Hyun-woo. Our sensors are detecting massive energy buildup from their ship. 4, 3, 2, 1. The screen went dark as Captain Dong Ho cut the communication. Admiral Taman stared at the blank screen for several seconds. Then he turned to his weapons officer. "Prepare for battle. These humans need to learn their place in the galaxy." But as his ships moved into attack formation, energy readings from the Jupiter system spiked to levels that should have been impossible. Whatever the humans had built, it was far more dangerous than anyone in the Dominion had imagined. Admiral Taman's face turned red with anger. In 3,000 years of Empire history, no species had ever dared speak to the Dominion the way that human captain had just done. The insult could not be allowed to stand. "Captain Sung-min," he called to the commander of the cruiser Dominion's Pride, "move forward and disable that human ship. Use minimum force. We want them alive to answer questions." "Yes, Admiral." Moving to attack position now. The Dominion's Pride was a beautiful ship, sleek and deadly like all Dominion vessels. Its crew had fought in dozens of battles across the galaxy. Captain Sung-min was proud of his ship and confident in his crew's abilities. How hard could it be to defeat one human vessel? "Target their engines and weapons," Sung-min ordered his gunners. "Disable but do not destroy. The Admiral wants prisoners." "Targets locked, sir. Ready to fire on your command." Captain Sung-min watched the human ship on his main screen. It hung motionless in space, making no attempt to flee or take defensive positions. Either the humans were very brave or very stupid. Fire warning shot. Show them we mean business. Bright plasma bolts streaked across space toward the Defiance. The shots were aimed to miss by a safe distance, just close enough to demonstrate Dominion firepower. But something impossible happened. The plasma bolts, which should have flown past the human ship, suddenly curved toward it. They struck the Defiance's hull and simply disappeared. No explosion, no damage, no energy signature at all. What just happened? Sung-min demanded. His weapons officer stared at his instruments in confusion. "Sir, our plasma bolts were absorbed by their hull. The energy just vanished." On the Defiance, Major Yuna smiled as she watched the Dominion weapon fire strike their ship. The new adaptive shields worked exactly as designed. Instead of blocking the enemy attack, they absorbed the energy and stored it for later use. "Captain, their weapons are even more primitive than we expected. Our shields absorbed their plasma without any difficulty." Captain Dong Ho nodded. "Good. Show them what real weapons look like. Target their forward guns only. Disable, do not destroy." "Yes, sir. Firing now." The Defiance's main weapon charged and fired in one smooth motion. But this was unlike any weapon the Dominion had ever seen. Instead of plasma or lasers, it fired a focused beam of twisted space-time itself. The beam struck the Dominion's Pride and tore through its armor like paper. But instead of exploding, the enemy ship simply began to come apart at the atomic level. Metal turned to dust. Electronics dissolved into nothing. In 30 seconds, the entire forward section of the cruiser had ceased to exist. Captain Seung-min watched in horror as half his ship disappeared. Emergency alarms screamed throughout the vessel. His crew ran frantically to seal breaches and restore power to damaged systems. "Damage report," he shouted. "Sir, forward guns are completely gone. Armor plating dissolved over 40 meters of hull. We have massive system failures throughout the ship." Seung-min had never seen anything like it. The human weapon had not just damaged his ship, it had unmade part of it at the most basic level. "Retreat immediately. Get us back to the fleet." Admiral Taemin watched the Dominion's Pride limp back toward his position, trailing debris and emergency lights. His confident smile had vanished completely. "Captain Hyunwoo, did you see what their weapon did?" "Yes, sir. It appears to disintegrate matter at the molecular level. I have never seen anything like it. How is that possible? Humans barely understand nuclear physics. How could they develop technology we do not have?" Before Hyunwoo could answer, the communication officer called out urgently, "Admiral, we are detecting multiple energy signatures throughout the system. The humans have more ships." The main screen shifted to show a tactical display of the Jupiter system. Red dots appeared one by one as human vessels revealed themselves. They had been hiding in asteroid fields, behind moons, even inside the gas giant's upper atmosphere. "How many?" Admiral Taemin asked quietly. 12 confirmed contacts, sir. Possibly more still hidden." The Admiral felt cold fear creeping up his spine. 12 human warships, each apparently as advanced as the one that had just crippled his cruiser. His reconnaissance fleet was outnumbered and outgunned. "Signal General Kyung-soo. We need immediate reinforcements." General Kyung-soo commanded the ground forces aboard the Eternal Supremacy. He was a practical man who had fought in 100 campaigns. When he received the Admiral's request, he studied the tactical display with professional interest. "How many ships do the humans have in total?" he asked Captain Hyunwoo. "Unknown, sir. Our sensors can only detect active vessels. There may be more hidden throughout their system. And their technology level? Far beyond what we expected. Their shields appear to absorb energy attacks. Their weapons can disintegrate matter. We are dealing with advanced alien technology, not primitive human engineering." General Kyung-soo frowned. "That makes no sense. Our intelligence reports show humans as a Class 7 threat. Low technology, divided governments, limited space capability." "Sir," Hyunwoo said carefully, "what if our intelligence was wrong? What if humans have been hiding their true capabilities?" The general considered this possibility. "For how long?" "Unknown. But based on what we have seen today, they could have been planning this for decades." On Earth, Dr. So-young monitored the battle from her underground laboratory. Banks of computers showed the status of every human ship in the system. So far, everything was working exactly as planned. "Commander Bora," she called over the communication system. "Phase 1 is complete. The Dominion fleet is confused and damaged. Should we proceed to Phase 2? Commander Bora's voice crackled through the speakers. "Not yet, Doctor. Let them think about what they have seen. Fear is a powerful weapon." Dr. So-young smiled. The plan was working perfectly. For 80 years, humans had prepared for this moment. They had studied Dominion technology, improved on it, and built something the aliens could not understand or defeat. The secret was patience. While the Dominion had grown comfortable and overconfident, humans had learned and planned and built. Every failure had taught them something new. Every defeat had made them stronger. Engineer Woo Jin appeared on her screen, broadcasting from the main shipyard. "Doctor, our production facilities are ready to begin Phase 3 construction. How long do you think we have?" "The Dominion will call for reinforcements," Dr. So-young replied. "We probably have 2 weeks before their main fleet arrives. Continue building. We will need every ship we can get." Back on the Eternal Supremacy, Admiral Taemin made the most difficult decision of his career. For the first time in Dominion history, he was ordering a retreat from a human system. "All ships withdraw to minimum safe distance. We will observe and wait for reinforcements." Captain Hyunwoo looked surprised. "Sir, we still outnumber them 12 to 12. Our ships are larger and more heavily armed." "Captain, did you see what happened to the Dominion's Pride? Their weapon tore through our best armor like it was paper. Until we understand their technology, we cannot risk the entire fleet." As the Dominion ships pulled back, The human vessels made no move to pursue. They simply watched and waited, like predators who knew their prey had nowhere to run. Admiral Tamin studied the tactical display and tried to understand what he was seeing. How had humans developed such advanced technology? Where had they been hiding these ships? And most importantly, what else were they hiding? Send a priority message to Supreme Command, he ordered. Request immediate reinforcement by the Second Fleet. Tell them we have encountered an unknown alien technology in human space. Sir, should I mention that the technology appears to be human in origin? Admiral Tamin hesitated. If he reported that humans had somehow surpassed Dominion technology, he would be laughed at or accused of cowardice. But if he did not warn headquarters about what they were facing, the next fleet might walk into the same trap. Tell them we have encountered advanced technology of unknown origin. Let headquarters decide what that means. As the message sped toward Dominion space, Admiral Tamin continued to watch the human ships. They remained in perfect formation, weapons powered but not targeting his fleet. They were sending a clear message. We could destroy you, but we choose not to. For the first time in his long career, Admiral Tamin wondered if the Dominion Empire might not be as invincible as everyone believed. Supreme Admiral Myung-ho read the report from Admiral Tamin 3 times before he believed it. Advanced alien technology in human space? Impossible. He had fought humans before during the last demonstration 40 years ago. They had been helpless then, watching their cities burn from orbit without being able to fight back. But the tactical data was clear. Dominion ships had been damaged by weapons that should not exist. Energy readings showed power levels that exceeded Empire technology. Prepare the Third Fleet for immediate departure, Myung-ho ordered his staff. 200 ships, full battle configuration. Sir, asked his aide, Captain Ji-won, do you think we need that many vessels for humans? Myung-ho studied the energy readings again. I do not know what we are facing, Captain. But I did not become Supreme Admiral by taking unnecessary risks. The Third Fleet was the pride of the Dominion military, 200 of the most advanced warships in the galaxy, crewed by the best officers the Empire could produce. They had conquered entire star systems and never faced a serious challenge. Surely no collection of human ships could stand against such overwhelming force. 3 days later, the massive fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system. Supreme Admiral Myung-ho stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Galactic Domination, and studied the tactical displays. Report, he ordered. Sir, we detect 14 human vessels in the Jupiter area. Admiral Tamin's reconnaissance fleet is maintaining distance as ordered. Only 14 ships? Against 200? Myung-ho almost smiled. Perhaps Admiral Tamin was more shaken than I thought. But as the fleet moved deeper into the system, more contacts appeared on the sensors. Ships hiding in the asteroid belt, vessels concealed behind moons, energy signatures that appeared and disappeared like ghosts. Sir, called the sensor officer, we now detect 47 human vessels. No, wait, 63. The number keeps changing. How is that possible? Unknown, sir. They appear to be using some kind of stealth technology that our sensors cannot penetrate fully. Dr. Jae-wook monitored the approaching Dominion fleet from his laboratory on Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. The old scientist had spent 50 years developing the technology that was about to be tested in real combat. Fascinating, he murmured to his assistant. Their sensor technology is exactly as we predicted. Powerful but inflexible. The human ships were not just hiding behind stealth technology. They were using adaptive camouflage that learned from each Dominion scan and adjusted to avoid detection. Every time the aliens swept the area with sensors, the human ships became a little more invisible. Doctor, his assistant asked, are you certain our networking system will work against so many enemy ships? Dr. Jae-wook nodded confidently. The test runs were perfect. Each ship will share targeting data, energy distribution, and tactical analysis with all the others. They will fight not as individual vessels but as a single organism. This was humanity's greatest innovation. While Dominion ships fought as separate units, human vessels were connected by quantum communication links that allowed instant coordination. When one ship detected a target, all ships knew about it immediately. When one ship's shields were weakened, others could share their energy to strengthen it. Supreme Admiral Myung-ho ordered his fleet into standard attack formation. All ships advance on the human positions. Destroy any vessel that resists. The Dominion fleet moved forward like a steel wave, confident in their overwhelming numbers. But as they approached Jupiter, something strange began to happen. Human ships that had appeared to be in one location suddenly appeared somewhere else entirely. They seemed to teleport short distances, disappearing from one spot and reappearing in another. How are they doing that? Myung-ho demanded. Unknown, sir. Their ships appear to be jumping through space without using hyperspace drives. Captain Incio, commanding the human vessel Retribution, smiled as she watched the Dominion fleet struggle to track her ship's position. The short-range teleportation system was another human innovation, based on folding space-time in small areas. Major Kang-ho, are all ships ready for combat networking? Yes, Captain. All vessels report ready for synchronized combat. Excellent. Begin pattern alpha. Throughout the human fleet, ships began to move in perfect coordination. They appeared and disappeared around the Dominion vessels, striking fast and vanishing before return fire could reach them. But the most shocking development was still to come. As Supreme Admiral Myung-ho watched, several human ships began to fly toward each other. He expected them to collide, but instead they merged together, forming a single larger vessel. What are they doing? He asked in amazement. Sir, the human ships appear to be combining. 5 vessels just became one ship 3 times larger than before. The combined human vessel turned toward the Dominion fleet and fired a weapon of incredible power. The energy beam struck 3 Dominion cruisers and simply erased them from existence. No explosion, no debris, nothing remained. Then the large ship separated again into 5 smaller vessels, each moving in a different direction. This is impossible, Myung-ho whispered. Ships cannot combine and separate like that, but the evidence was right in front of him. Human vessels were joining together to create massive weapons platforms, then splitting apart to avoid return fire. Their technology was so far beyond Dominion understanding that it seemed like magic. Captain Ji-won ran to the Admiral's side. Sir, we are losing ships faster than we can target the enemy. Their hit-and-run tactics are devastating our formation. Supreme Admiral Myung-ho looked at the tactical display with growing horror. Red markers showed damaged or destroyed Dominion ships scattered throughout the system. In 30 minutes of combat, he had lost over 40 vessels, and the humans had not lost a single ship. How is this possible? He asked again. We have the most advanced military in the galaxy. Captain Hyunwoo, who had transferred from Admiral Taemin's ship to observe the battle, provided the answer that no one wanted to hear. Sir, I believe the humans have been planning this for a very long time. Everything we are seeing suggests decades of preparation and development. Decades? But our intelligence reports were wrong, sir. Completely wrong. On the bridge of the Defiance, Captain Dong-ho watched the battle with calm satisfaction. Everything was proceeding exactly as planned. The Dominion fleet was powerful but predictable, using tactics that human strategists had studied and prepared for. Major Yuna, signal all ships. Begin Phase 3. Yes, sir. All ships, this is Fleet Command. Execute Phase 3. Show them what we have really built. New energy signatures began appearing throughout the system. Ships that had been completely hidden now revealed themselves. Massive vessels emerged from concealment behind planets and asteroids. The human fleet doubled in size, then tripled. Supreme Admiral Myung-ho stared at the sensor displays in disbelief. How many ships do they have? Sir, we now detect over 300 human vessels. No, 400. The count keeps rising. That is impossible. Humans do not have the industrial capacity to build so many ships. But the evidence was undeniable. The humans had not just built a few advanced warships. They had built an entire secret navy, hidden throughout their solar system and ready for exactly this moment. Captain Inesio's voice came over the communication system, broadcast to every Dominion ship in the system. This is Captain Inesio of the Terran Defense Fleet. You have entered our space with hostile intent. You have fired upon our vessels. We consider this an act of war. Surrender now and your crews will be treated according to galactic law. Continue fighting and we will destroy every ship in your fleet. Supreme Admiral Myung-ho realized with cold certainty that he was facing the most advanced military force he had ever encountered. The humans had not just matched Dominion technology, they had surpassed it by generations. Signal all ships, he ordered quietly. Prepare for tactical withdrawal. For the first time in 3,000 years of Dominion history, an Imperial fleet was retreating from human space. Fleet Admiral Young Su stood in the command center of humanity's largest hidden shipyard, watching displays that showed the retreating Dominion fleet. The old admiral had gray hair and tired eyes, but his voice was strong as he addressed his staff. Signal all hidden fleets. It is time to reveal the full scope of our preparations. Throughout human space, massive shipyards that had been disguised as asteroids or hidden inside planets began to activate. Thousands of ships that had been built in secret over 8 decades powered up their engines and prepared for war. The humans had not just built a defensive fleet, they had built an invasion force. President Hei-Wan sat in her office deep beneath the surface of Mars, reading reports from across the galaxy. For 40 years she had waited for this moment. As a child, she had watched the Dominion ships burn her hometown from orbit. Now she was about to give the order that would change the balance of power in the galaxy forever. Open a channel to all inhabited worlds, she told her communication staff. It is time to address the galaxy. Her message went out on every frequency, in every language spoken by intelligent species throughout the galaxy. People of the galaxy, this is President Hei-Wan of the United Earth Government. For 3,000 years, the Dominion Empire has ruled through fear and oppression. They have destroyed worlds, enslaved species, and claimed the right to control all life in the galaxy. Today, that era ends. Humanity offers alliance to all free peoples. We offer technology to defend yourselves. We offer hope that the Empire's reign of terror can be brought to an end. To the Dominion Empire, we say this: withdraw from all occupied worlds, recognize the sovereignty of all species, and pay reparations for your crimes. Do this and we will allow you to exist. Refuse and we will remove you from power ourselves. The message reached every corner of the galaxy within hours. On 17 worlds, rebellions began immediately. Species that had been oppressed for centuries saw hope for the first time in generations. Ambassador Gi Jun arrived at the Dominion capital world of Zentros 3 days later. His small diplomatic ship was escorted by 2 human destroyers that appeared and disappeared around the massive space stations. Protecting the planet, the Dominion leadership had never seen ships move like that before. The human vessels seemed to dance through space, ignoring the laws of physics that governed normal starships. Emperor Kangde himself came to meet the human ambassador. The ancient ruler of the galaxy sat on his crystal throne, surrounded by 1,000 years of conquered treasures. But for the first time in his long life, he looked worried. So, the emperor said, the humans think they can threaten the Dominion Empire. Ambassador Gi Jun smiled politely. Your Majesty, we are not threatening you. We are offering you a choice: peaceful coexistence or total war. You cannot win a war against the entire empire. We have 10,000 ships, 1 million soldiers, weapons that can destroy planets. Your Majesty, in the past 3 days, 17 worlds have declared independence from your empire. Our intelligence networks tell us that dozens more are preparing to rebel. How long do you think your rule will last when your own subjects are fighting against you? Emperor Kangde's face turned red with anger. Those rebellions will be crushed. I will not negotiate with primitives who should be grateful we allow them to exist. I see. Ambassador Gi Jun stood and bowed politely. Then I will deliver your answer to my government. I hope you will reconsider before it is too late. As the human ambassador left, Emperor Kangde called his military commanders together. Prepare the Grand Fleet, every ship, every soldier, every weapon we have. We will end this human nonsense once and for all. But Supreme Admiral Myung-ho, who had just returned from the Sol system, shook his head. Your Majesty, I have seen what the humans can do. Their technology is beyond our understanding. Their ships are more advanced than ours. Their tactics are perfect. You are a coward, Admiral. How can primitives be superior to the Dominion? Captain Hyunwoo, who had been standing quietly in the corner, finally spoke. Your Majesty, perhaps they were never primitive at all. Perhaps they have been planning this for much longer than we realized. The truth was becoming clear to those willing to see it. For 80 years, while the Dominion had grown comfortable and overconfident, humanity had been learning and building and preparing. Every Dominion ship that had visited Earth had been studied. Every piece of alien technology had been analyzed and improved upon. The humans had turned their isolation into an advantage, using the time to develop weapons and defenses that the Empire could not understand or counter. Engineer Wu Jin stood in his shipyard, watching the construction of humanity's newest vessels. These ships were even more advanced than the ones that had defeated the Dominion fleet at Jupiter. They could create artificial black holes, manipulate time itself, and travel through dimensions that normal physics said did not exist. "Dr. So-young," he called to his old colleague, "how many ships will we have ready for the next phase?" 2,000 completed, 5,000 more under construction. At this rate, we will have the largest fleet in the galaxy within 6 months. Wu Jin nodded with satisfaction. The Dominion spent 3,000 years believing they were the most advanced civilization in the galaxy. They forgot the most important rule of the universe. What rule is that? Never underestimate a species with something to prove. On distant worlds throughout the galaxy, alien species watched the human broadcasts with growing excitement. The mighty Dominion Empire, which had seemed eternal and invincible, was facing a challenge it could not defeat. The Kelvari, whose homeworld had been occupied for 800 years, began making weapons in secret. The Zephyrians, who had been enslaved for generations, planned coordinated uprisings. The Meraxi, whose entire star system had been strip-mined by Dominion corporations, prepared to reclaim their worlds. Captain Hyunwoo made the most difficult decision of his life. After 20 years of loyal service to the Dominion, he sent a secret message to the human fleet. "This is Captain Hyunwoo of the Dominion Intelligence Service. I wish to defect to the human cause. I have information about Empire military plans and technology that may be useful to your war effort." The reply came back within hours. "Captain Hyunwoo, you are welcome to join the Alliance of Free Worlds. Report to the coordinates we are sending. You will find friends waiting for you there." 3 days later, Hyunwoo stood on the bridge of a human ship, looking at technology that made Dominion equipment seem like children's toys. The humans had not just defeated the Empire's fleets, they had made them obsolete. "Captain," asked Commander Bo-Ra, "what can you tell us about Dominion defenses around their capital world?" Hyunwoo studied the tactical displays showing Zentros and its massive orbital fortresses. "Their defenses are strong but rigid. They rely on overwhelming firepower rather than flexibility. If you can get past their outer perimeter, the inner defenses will collapse quickly." "Excellent. We will begin planning the final assault." The war that followed lasted only 6 months. Human fleets appeared throughout the galaxy, liberating oppressed worlds and defeating Dominion forces wherever they were found. Allied species provided intelligence and support, while human technology provided the weapons needed to win. The Sewer Empire that had ruled for 3,000 years crumbled in less than a year. Emperor Kangday's final transmission to the galaxy was a broadcast from his throne room as human ships surrounded his capital world. "This cannot be happening. The Dominion is eternal. We are the masters of the galaxy." Fleet Admiral Youngsu's reply was heard on every world in human space. "Your Majesty, you made a simple mistake. You assumed that primitive meant weak. You assumed that isolated meant helpless. You assumed that because we had been defeated before, we could never become strong enough to defeat you. You were wrong. The new galactic government was established on a liberated world in neutral space. Representatives from dozens of species worked together to create laws based on freedom rather than oppression. Human technology was shared freely with all allied worlds. And in the shipyards of humanity, new vessels continued to roll out of production. Not warships this time, but exploration vessels and colony ships and research platforms. Humanity was finally free to expand into the galaxy they had dreamed of reaching for so long. Engineer Wu Jin, now old and gray, walked through the corridors of the first human ship to explore beyond the galaxy's edge. As he looked out at the stars that no one had ever seen before, he remembered the dark days when Earth had been trapped and helpless. "Never again," he whispered to himself. "Never again will humanity be weak." Behind him, the vast fleet of human ships spread out across the galaxy, carrying freedom to worlds that had never known it and hope to species that had given up dreaming of better days. The age of human expansion had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same.